Welcome, everyone. My name is Sue Graham Johnston, and I'm VP and General Manager at Juniper Networks. Joining me today is Marissa Trissolino, who is CEO of CMC Networks. Marissa, welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Sue. Thank you for having me. Great seeing you again.
Always fun to see you, and great to have an opportunity to talk about all the exciting things we've been doing together. So Juniper, through 128 Technology and CMC Networks, have a strong partnership, and we're delivering an innovative SD-WAN solution to CMC's multinational customers. Marissa, I'm not sure how many of our viewers are going to be familiar with CMC Networks, so maybe give us some background and help the audience understand what led you to select 128 Technology as your partner.
Okay, thank you, Sue. That's a great question. And, it is a good place to start to share who we are and what we do, right? So CMC Networks is a global service provider. We've been in the industry for 30 years. Our strategic focus is predominantly on Africa and the Middle East, where we service in Africa alone 51 countries and 13 countries in the Middle East. And you can look at our customer base is a mixed bag. It includes multinationals, governments, non-profit organizations, tier one providers, and we really help our customers extend their Ethernet, their MPLS, their internet capabilities seamlessly across the MEA region. So, and to add just another point, our core network is SDN enabled, and it connects all 51 countries to regional DCs, cloud providers, and global internet points. But having said that, I think it's an interesting fun fact. Africa and the Middle East has a complex terrain and geographies, and that's really where CMC Networks stands taller compared to our competitors. We have a unique ability to not only provide connectivity and services in these remote and challenging locations, but we really strive to deliver with the highest level of reliability and latency standards, right? And understanding the needs of SD-WAN African market is critical, and understanding how we can deliver on the challenged Africa infrastructure is really where our strengths come from, and finding the perfect SDN partner, which is 128T and Juniper, right? And we have gone back many years, Sue, in this fantastic journey with the 128T and Juniper. And as you said, we've been in the business for many years, but it took us a long time to find the right SDN player. And Jeff Dornan, our CTO, really evaluated several SDN players, and we were looking for one particular player that was as innovative, as feisty, as challenging as CMC has as our way of looking and in interacting in the market. And we came across yourselves, Sue, with your leadership, and Andy and Pat and the rest of the 128T. We came across a fantastic SDN partner like yourselves, and my motto that I always say when I look for a partner to work with, we don't want a partner that sits across the table from us. We're looking for a partner that sits next to us, and we're looking in the same direction. And we heavily invested in our CRAN platform, which is CMC's Rapid Adaptive Network SDN platform. And yourselves and 128T and Juniper has been a key building block in our success story.
Yeah, thanks, Marissa. I mean, so many great threads to pull on in your response, but maybe let's start with the high standards that your customers have, because I think that's part of what makes the joint solution so exceptional. So can you talk a little bit about what some of these multinationals expect and how that compares to kind of what's natively available in Africa? And then we can turn to, well, how did we collectively solve for that challenge?
Okay, well, any customer, I think you don't necessarily have to be in Africa and the Middle East. but any customer is looking for the cheapest solution, the most reliable solution, and the best latency that you can find, right? Now, if you combine that and you combine the tremendous growth that everybody's experiencing on the data boost, on the internet requirements that are coming out, and then you look at where CMC is based and what we are servicing in Africa and the Middle East, and then you bring in the tremendous support from 128T and Juniper, and you bring that all together, you have a perfect solution. However, let me just take a step back and say, and explain a little bit about the scope and scale of how big the African continent is, right? And the Middle East. So you're looking at a continent that's got about 1.3 billion people. There are 54 distinct countries in Africa alone, and CMC services 51 of them, right? If you look at the US can comfortably fit in Africa at least 3 times. So it is a very, very large geography. And there's an abundance of resource and wealth going on in Africa. But having said that, the internet and data traffic is catching up. It's catching up very, very fast. And it is said that by I think 2027, the traffic in Africa will outgrow Europe and the US. So we've got so many submarine cables coming out and local content that there's going to be an explosion. Now, when you look at the scale and the size of Africa, and you look at the growing traffic, and you see how long those WAN links are, then you can very, very easily understand the complexities, how the distance can impact the performance and reliability of the connectivity. And this is especially true outside of metro areas or main cities. So there are these non-urban areas that are faced with extremely high costs and low quality links. And in most cases, internet is the most feasible option. And that is where Juniper 128T comes in and helps resolve this very, very complex situation.
Absolutely. And you and I have shared a lot of stories. I mean, first of all, I always love working with you because I get to put another pin in the map every time we go into a different country together. But let's talk about, what are some of the attributes of Session Smart Routing that differentiate Juniper's solution from all the other SD-WAN solutions in the marketplace?
Well, SD-WAN has been around for a very, very long time, right? But what does every SDN player partner give? Any customer, it gives speed and power on the network. And I think the question that we need to really ask here is, what is the level of intelligence? Does your SD-WAN partner provide a level of intelligence? Does your SD-WAN partner provide the support, the new requirements of critical business applications and digital transformation strategies require? And I think that is what the big differentiator here is for 128T and Juniper. It's you give CMC the level of intelligence and insight to our network that has never, it's not been seen before, right? And I just want to give a few attributes. There's several, but top 3 or 4. It is the intelligent, secure vector routing. This alone allows the network to identify the problem and automatically decide on the best and most effective route possible. And this supports the business application without any user intervention. I mean, this is just phenomenal. Secondly, you don't require a VPN technology no longer. It's all tunnelless. And this technology ensures that each session is secured, providing end-to-end military-grade security with the zero trust policy. And going back to the tunnelless technology, this allows the full bandwidth capacity for the link to be used. There's no VPN overhead and there's no loss in available bandwidth for the application. It just gives such a fantastic experience to the user. And, so we've always joked about it, but there are no hidden additional features in the license cost. The price includes all the features enabled by default. This is a key differentiator for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think from our perspective, helping people understand the benefits of tunnelless in challenging environments like what you face, delivering a Pan-African and Pan-Middle Eastern solution. It's just a terrific demonstration of our capability, and the session orientation, which allows you to have these solutions for your customers that truly differentiate the user's experience in a way that no other technology can. And what's been exciting to me recently are our conversations about your aspirations for CMC Networks and how you're really embracing AI and using that to differentiate, your core offering. I think people would find that very exciting. Can you share your vision of what you're driving and where CMC is headed?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very excited about this. I mean, this is going to be a feature and a new enhancement on the CMC CRAN solution. We're talking about STEP, the Service and Topology Exchange Protocol. This is going to revolutionize the entire network in Africa, our network, right? And this is just a phenomenal milestone for us. And it's a very exciting time. And, Sue, with the tremendous work that we've done with the two teams and the companies, it's really going to it's a game changer. And I think the best way I can probably explain this AI STEP phenomena that's coming our way is to use an analogy, right? And compare it to the Waze app. Now, it provides a similar function to Waze in the real-time world traffic management use case. So just like Waze would have the visibility and indicate the least congested routes when it comes to vehicle traffic, STEP can automatically select paths based on least congestion, shortest path, cost effectiveness, and availability. This is going to be a game changer in the SDN world. And I get excited every time I speak about it, right? But this is going to enable our CMC CRAN routers to dynamically learn connectivity and service information within any network. It's going to be so simple, so efficient, and so reliable. I think the benefits of STEP is highly beneficial to any of our customers. And it's going to help our enterprises spin up and down locations for existing service bandwidths on loads, any new services, and remove or modify existing services. I mean, the speed to market is going to be reduced significantly. I think just overall a very dynamic and self-optimizing network, which is going to enable our customers to get the network to do what their business needs. And that's the importance.
Excellent. I think with that, Marissa, we probably have time for one more question before we wrap up here. So let's go with the big picture in Africa. I mean, you've talked about the explosive growth, all of the investment that's coming into the continent, the challenges of meeting that aspiration. So what do you think is next for the industry? What's next for the continent? Leave us with kind of your big picture vision thoughts.
Well, I think the industry, the telco industry, everything, it's moving at a pace just because of, I think, this pandemic has accelerated everybody's thinking, right? Everybody makes a joke that the best CTO is COVID because you just have to really move fast. But in generally speaking, I think everybody is just, the key focus here is on borderless edge for the enterprise space, SD-WAN and SASE merging to delivery on a cloud native consumption of service in a very secure manner, no matter where the end user connects from. And then the other big talk of the town is LEO constellations, right? Mm-hmm. How are we, Africa, like I explained, you can fit Western Europe, China, India, Japan, US into the continent of Africa. It's so big. So that LEO constellation for satellite connectivity and how we're going to play with an underlay connectivity to complement our CRAN evolution platform and deliver an experience-based network from any remote possible location on this wonderful large African continent. That's our vision.
And Marissa, we're so pleased to be your partner in delivering that Experience First Network. And you really take advantage of our core innovation, the reliability, the security, the low latency, low overhead, all of the attributes that make us a terrific partnership. So with that, I'm just extremely grateful for the time that you've spent with us today. It's been exciting to hear about, what you've done and where you see the industry headed. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you for having me, and hope to see you in person one of these days.
Absolutely.